I was just listening to the radio, hearing the news about this conference in Copenhagen, where all these UN guys are going to talk about the global warming. They're having their big conference there, and I'm here in the Uinta Basin here in Utah, and let me tell you what, I'm a big fan of some global warming, and I could go for some right now. I've been driving I left La Pointe, went into Vernal, and I'm now back towards Fort Duchesne. So I've been driving for 45 minutes or so. And if you look at my temperature gauge there, my engine has barely started to warm up. That's how cold it is here. It's just freezing. My truck is so cold. I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks and some good insulated Columbias. And I tell you what, man, my toes are freezing. I could have me some global warming right now. I'll take 2, please. But you know what? I tell you what, it is so cold. I've got to drive all the way out to Salt Lake to take care of some business, and by the time I get there, man, I'm going to be just freaking an ogre sickle. It's going to be not fun at all. Now, these scientists and everything you know about global warming, we now know to be a huge fraud. I've got other words for it, but I'm not going to say that. But it's all bogus. Scientists have not only excluded some data, which we knew before, but they're also throwing out data and manipulating data. Basically, if you're throwing out and excluding, manipulating, not releasing data, it means that you don't have data. You've got a political agenda, and that's all global warming is. Because when you can drive a V8 engine for almost an hour and it doesn't even warm up yet, my heater hasn't even started working yet. Man, that's some cold stuff. That is really cold. But man-made global warming has been such a huge hoax. It's such a fraud. But the liberal left, they're not going to get rid of it. They're not going to let this go, because for them, it's an industry. And on top of it being an industry, it's like a religion to them as well. So even though they're making money on their religion, you know, it really reminds me of medieval Catholicism. You will believe, you will recant your heretical beliefs, and you will believe in the religion that they tell you to believe in, or they will put you on some sort of medieval rack or torture device and beat you and torture you until you do believe, and then they will execute you quickly. Well, we see the same thing here with the global warming guys. If you don't believe, if you're a scientist and you don't believe like they do, you are shunned, you're blacklisted, you're ridiculed, you're mocked, and you're denied access. You are not taken seriously. So the only scientists that have been taken seriously have been scientists that they have allowed to be taken seriously. The Universal Church in the Middle Ages, what became the Catholics. And I'm not disparaging the Catholics. I'm just talking about medieval history, because you look it up, and there's a lot of great things that the Catholics done, but this is definitely a bad side. And I'm not saying there's not good things that liberals have done, but there is a bad side. And this bad side is the promotion of worldwide fraud on not just everybody, but basically on the American people. Because what this UN conference is doing is not figuring out how they can change, but figuring out how we, the American taxpayer, will pay for the change. It's all about weakening America, weakening our resolve, our strength, our economic power. Now, back when the Gulf War, this whole mess with Iraq started, you had France refuse to join the coalition of the willing. And I'm just going to give you a little history lesson here. The American consumer drinks a lot of French wine. Overall, I don't, but overall, America drinks a lot of French wine. Now, when France didn't join the coalition of the willing, people stopped buying French wine. A lot of people. That accounted for a 10% drop in sales of French wine. And all of a sudden, Jacques Chirac, the president of France, who was very outspoken about not liking America, hating America, all of a sudden is like, hey, we've always been friends, you know? We're good friends. We got a good history. Buy some French wine. 10% drop in wine sales. Just one industry. Freaked them out that bad. That just tells you, and just a little illustration of the power of the U.S. economy. And this is what the rest of the world wants to destroy, wants a part of, wants a piece of the action. And one way they're doing that is global warming. Now, another way that they're doing that is by a new bill coming out, and I'll have a link to it, this pure water, the clean water bill, which is just basically an excuse for a huge federal land grab. Again, who are they taking the land from? They're taking it from me, they're taking it from you, they're taking it from Americans. You know, the United States, every square inch of this land, this country, is probably going to end up under the ownership of the federal government unless we do something about it. The old saying of the land of the free and the home of the brave, it's going to be put to the test. So, when you watch the news, man, don't be gullible. Do not be gullible. Global warming is a hoax. You know, we've seen our polar ice caps shrink a little bit. Well, we've seen the same things happening on Mars. It's the sun, the most powerful heat source, energy source in the whole solar system. It's the sun, and these scientists are trying to tell you that that has nothing to do with it. Come on, don't be gullible. Be smart. Be warm. Build a fire.